Josh, we have another special guest here on the Believe in UCLA football podcast. Femi joins the show today. Femi, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you having me.
Thanks for hopping on. Greatly appreciated. I know you've been a very busy man the last couple weeks here. I mean, obviously you had the season and whatnot, but that's kind of rolled on over beyond the season.
Yep.
What have things been like for you the last couple weeks?
Man, just preparing. Obviously after season, started, getting ready for the combine / pro day / the Senior Bowl. Had the Senior Bowl about a month ago now. And just get ready for the combine next week, man. So I'm grateful. I can't complain.
Damn, the senior, the
I know. I was like, time is flying.
the combine's already in a week.
Yeah.
Just let's go back to the Senior Bowl real quick. I remember the first couple years I covered UCLA, there may have been like one or two guys. Josh, I think it was like Felton one year. Maybe it was like one or two guys. Tito, I think, was another year. And then there might have been a year where there wasn't somebody. And then now there's like at least two or three, y'all, it seems like, for the last year or two here. But was Carson Schlesinger there?
He wasn't able to make it. He was supposed to be there, but he
Okay.
didn't coming anymore.
Okay.
But Moliki Matavao was.
Moliki was it? That's right. So there should have been at least three of y'all there.
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you? Obviously, walking away with the national team most valuable player award. Just tell me about what that experience was for you. And as a college football player, did you have that in the back of your mind as a goal, trying to reach the Senior Bowl at some point?
Yeah, man, I think the experience was very great. I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to go. Competing with the best from around the country, the nation, and then just meeting a lot of people. There's a lot of networking going on, a lot of information being given out. They're competing, like I said, and that was the best part about it. And then in terms of, if I ever thought about getting to the Senior Bowl, I knew preseason that I was on the watch list, but I didn't really, pay too much mind to that. I was focused on the season and Lord of God, it came along on the journey. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Josh. You got something?
I mean, and you said competition's a big thing, and I know the networking and the interviews, has that like got you ready, you feel like, for the combine, excited for next week?
Yeah, man, 100%. I think it definitely has. Just speaking to people in general and communicating, I think is very important, and it shows whether or not you can be a pro or not, So I'm very excited. I look forward to it.
Just staying on that point. So obviously you spent at least I think it was like 2 years at Cal before you went over to UCLA. So you had a little bit of a different change of environment going from Cal to UCLA a little bit. But when you get to the Senior Bowl, and obviously the talent level is what it is, and you're kind of thrown in with a bunch of guys you don't know, but everyone's ideally their IQ is pretty high at that level when it comes to football. What kind of challenge is that like to kind of be in a room with a bunch of other dogs and guys that maybe had played the game at the NFL level and whatnot? Is there kind of any kind of nerves going into that, knowing, I'm in here with some elite company now?
Yeah, I think it depends on who you are as a man and as a person, as a player. For me, I look at this as opportunity, just opportunity to be with the best. I get to be in this room. I get to get this coach, and I get to compete with the best guys with the highest IQs against the world, or in the world. So for me, I just look at this as a privilege. I think a lot of people sometimes forget, like, man, people want to be in the shoes you're in, so embrace the moment. So I looked at it as opportunity, as I mentioned.
No doubt. And Josh, as someone who played linebacker at UCLA, and then I believe maybe I'm wrong, Josh, you played on the edge a little bit too, right? Or you were rushing a little bit at some point?
Yeah, kind of similar to Femi. Like my last year, we just didn't have any edge guys. We didn't have, we didn't have the depth that we needed. So I was one of the guys that moved, kind of similar, I feel like, to what Femi had to go through this year. And like as soon as I met Femi, I saw him as a true Mike and the leader of expected this year to hold down defense. And I think it just attests to your abilities, Femi, of everything that you're capable of them moving you to the edge. And I know for the senior game you're at the edge, so for the combine, will you also be doing edge, or will you be doing some inside backer stuff as well?
I think we lost him.
Too much. Too big a question? There we go. So yeah, when I first met Femi, man, I was like, oh, he's a true Mike. Like he's built for it, expected him to go into the season, lead the defense. And I think, yeah, not having any edge players really coming in through the portal and through recruiting, I thought it was like, dang, there's gonna be a kind of a hole there. And I know the word on the street was they were kind of cross training you, Femi, and you ended up, stepping into that role and look where you're at now. So for the combine, are you going to be an edge or are you going to do some inside backer work as well?
I'll probably be an edge, but if they ask me to do some inside linebacker work, I have no problem doing that. But yeah, like you mentioned, bro, going to edge, I think that's where I should have been at. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But football's football. I think my experience at Mike helps me tremendously in terms of knowing football, knowing what the offense wants to throw at you, knowing the defense, and just knowing overall what everybody's doing around me. I can, transition that into edge as well.
I can't remember if we go. Sorry, Josh, go ahead.
I would say that just shows how much trust and faith the coaches had in you and your abilities of having being able to do multiple things, and it definitely is going to help you be multifaceted going forward, because there's going to be opportunities for a team to see you and be like, okay, Femi's playing inside backer, so I know he can cover, I know he can drop. Oh, but he can, rush the edge and, multiple packages and disguise different looks. Like it's just an asset for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely an advantage for you.
That's real.
I couldn't remember. Do we know? Well, you would know. Did you play edge before? Did you play edge at Cal, or you were always a linebacker in college? Like how did it come up where you're just sitting there one day and just saying, let's move Femi to edge? Or like, how does that work?
Well, in high school, I kind of played all around the board, played edge, linebacker. In Pop Warner, I played D tackle, nose guard. So I've had some experience at edge, but primarily at Cal, I was an inside linebacker. But yeah.
So you mentioned a lot of defense there. Josh talks about how he played a little running back in high school.
Hey, I'm telling you, Foss knows.
Okay, Lord.
Hey, Foss knows. He was always trying to get me to play running back, but Coach Scotty would not let me. That's just a fact.
Any offense for you? Were we scoring touchdowns and whatnot at any point early on, or what was the game like on offense?
Yeah, I played tight end and a little bit of receiver, fullback.
Okay.
But primarily tight end. I was just looking at some clips earlier of me, man. I wish I had a senior year, man. Because COVID, I didn't have a senior year, so I was really planning on snapping that tight end on my senior year, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Gotcha. And Josh mentioned Scott White there. What is that relationship like with him and having him there at UCLA? Well, you guys just had this last year together, right? Yeah, because Scotty had just come back in. Yeah, what was that like for you?
It's so funny. It's full circle. He gave me my first scholarship at San Jose State.
Wow.
He was the first dude that actually started to believe and invest in me. When I figured out he was coming, I met him a few times through the process and things like that of recruiting. When he came to Cal or UCLA, it was full circle. He's a great guy, great mentor. We've had a lot of great conversations, and we still talk to this day. So that's my dog.
Yeah. Any follow up there, Josh, on Scotty and the relationship you guys have, and what Femi could be in store for?
No, he said it all. That's Scotty. He sees talent, bro. I've had conversations with him, watching tape before other people. When he sees certain things in people, he means it, and he does a really good job, I feel like, of getting the best out of the guys he has in his room. And one of the things is, I know he's always excited to have more linebackers on the field. So like having Femi at edge, he was still a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's more of the boys on the field, and we always took pride in get as many linebackers as we can on the field. So shout out Scotty, man.
Yeah.
And just real quick, since we talk about coaches playing for Malloy, he was there the 2 years that you were there. Obviously last year as the defensive coordinator at UCLA and returning as UCLA's defensive coordinator again for this upcoming season. What was your relationship like with him? And tell us a little bit about him as a coach, and take us inside the locker room and inside the meeting rooms. What is he like as a guy running that defense for you guys?
Yeah, man, Coach Moore is passionate. That's the first word that comes to mind, just passionate. And not only about football, but about life in general. He's just a man of deep faith, strong convictions, great coach, great mentor. Can talk to him about life and about football. He's a resource. And it's funny because, honestly, my first year when I got there, I was still getting adjusted and things like that. So we weren't as close. Come second year, he's the defensive coordinator. I'm the mic. And then I go into his position room. We got really close. So I just spoke to him about 2 weeks ago about life. So that's my dog, man. Really good coach. Thank him a lot.
Josh, you got anything?
I know you brought up faith, and I mean, one of the things that since I've really, started to get to know you more and follow you, I've been just ultra impressed about your faith and your journey and different things. I remember, believe before the season, you took a trip to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about that at all? I mean, it looked dope, and just the experience of going back.
It was a vibe, bro. Well, obviously, I'm of Nigerian descent. I'm a first generational child, so my parents came to California in 1996. Yeah, 96. I wasn't yet born, but I had a chance to go back with my dad, and it was kind of like a 2-in-1 trip because I'm part of a ministry, and we got a ministry out there, so it was super dope to connect with them. But then also to see all my family on my dad's side and some on my mom's side. I was out there for 2 weeks, right before camp a little bit. So I'm grateful the coaches allowed me to, get out there and do my thing. And then I've been before, but the last time I went, I was 7. So I was a kid, I still remember things, but it's not the same. So I was 20 years old when I went last year. So it was dope, really dope trip. And I know that the NFL, they do a lot of camps. NFL Africa is getting bigger. I'd love to, one day be an ambassador or help in that situation.
Yeah, one of the guys I've trained with, but he went to the other school, Uchenna Nwosu. I know he's always always one of the guys that's always over there, help running camp stuff. So I could definitely see you being in, alongside him, one of those roles.
Yep, he a real one for sure.
I can't imagine, some of them seeing you at 7, and then all of a sudden you come back and you're this grown man, this big old dude. Were there a lot of shocked faces when they saw the change over the years, or?
Yeah, a lot of them because I have an older brother that's 10 years older than me. So a lot of them are like, "Are you your brother, or is that they couldn't believe it?" They couldn't believe I got so big. So yeah, people were shocked and surprised for sure.
Gotcha. Just going back to the NFL scouting combine, an exciting time for a lot of people. I know it's a big thing for many. I know there's been a few over the years that even coming out of UCLA that probably should have had opportunities to get invited and unfortunately didn't, or they were considered among some of the bigger snubs at times as far as missing out on the scouting combine. For you to get that opportunity, how do you find out? How do you hear about it? And what are you looking forward to most when you get there?
Well, find out through your agent. Your agent tells you. And,
was it on the radar at all? Was that something realistic at the time?
Before season ended, he had told me about I'm gonna get a Senior Bowl invite and a combine invite, and I was like, I was in, in the moment I was grateful, but it kind of surreal. Yeah. But I'm like, I ain't even finished season yet. Let me lock in and keep focusing. But I was really grateful. And I kind of didn't believe him. I did, but I didn't. I gotta see it before it happens. You know what I'm saying? But it happened, so I was very grateful. And then in terms of getting ready for it, man, and I'm just excited.
Who are you working out with? What has the process been like for you? Where are you at? Who are you working with? And what is something you're just improving on overall with your game so far?
Yeah, man, I'm training in Dallas, Texas at Exos here in Plano. Really good guys up here, man. You got obviously the coaches, Coach Brent Calloway and Coach Sal. Then you got great PTs, Iago, Savannah. And there's a lot of good players up here, man. You got Abdul Carter, Nick Scorin, Jalen Walker, Trevor Etienne. I mean, the list goes on.
Okay.
But I think for myself, really just focusing on my craft. Being there before the Senior Bowl is more focused on, yes, obviously 40-yard dash, speed, things like that. But with individual drills, more for the Senior Bowl. And then after Senior Bowl, yes, we're still doing 40-yard dash, bench press, getting stronger, getting more explosive. But now in terms of individuals, it's more of the drills that you'll do at the combine. And then I think even for myself, I'm still trying to not think too far ahead of the process, but I'm still making sure I'm staying mobile, stretching, flexibility, core, taking care of my body because we still got a season coming up here in September. You know, I got to make a team. So, yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. Go ahead, Josh.
And you're competitive, so you're gonna do all the drills, right? And do all the testing.
Yeah,
Because you know some guys.
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it for sure.
Is there a drill in particular where you think you'll be at your best? And then how are we feeling about the 40-yard dash? I think that we got to ask about the 40.
Yeah, in terms of drills, I mean, I think I'll stand on all of them, and I think that's due to my experience at Mike and even my training in high school. You know, I used to train a lot with DBs, so. And then in terms of the 40, man, y'all see, you know, it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a spot. Yeah.
Josh, did you have something else?
I mean, we can go back. So you're talking about COVID. You didn't have a senior year. Was that one of the reasons you decided to go to Cal out of high school? Yeah,
probably the main reason. So, you know, before COVID, I had a chance to visit Cal at the junior day. And, you know, it's up the street I'm from Sacramento, Elk Grove, small suburb. It's about an hour and a half away from Berkeley. So I had a chance to visit there already. And, you know, they were buying into me and investing in me. And then COVID hit and I couldn't visit no schools, bro. So, you know, every visit I had was, you know, through Zoom basically. And it was super, it was cool, but I can't feel what it's like to be there. So,
right. You don't know what you'd be signing up for.
Yeah. And despite hearing from other people, like I never had a chance to actually be in the presence of the school. So, yeah, that definitely had a big toll on why I chose Cal.
And then moving forward from there, what ultimately made you decide to leave,
transfer,
and eventually land at UCLA?
Yeah, I think. Long story short, I just think it was better opportunities. I think it was kind of time for change, and not like I quit or gave them the team, but I just thought it was personal or best in my personal decision. And then UCLA, I mean, at the time when Chip was there, I thought a great culture was being built. Coach Ken Norton Jr., legend. Though he left, went to Commanders, I still talk to him probably once, twice a month. And I just thought it was a great culture being built.
Speaking about your time at Cal and obviously making the jump from Cal to UCLA, do you ever reflect back on that big game you had? I don't have the number in front of me. I think it was like 14 tackles. You correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was like 14, 16 tackles. But do you ever reflect back on that game and obviously what that game did playing against UCLA as far as your trajectory, as far as now, if you look at where you're at now and being at UCLA, the career you had, scouting combine, Senior Bowl. Do you ever look back at that game in that moment?
I wouldn't say that exact game, but you know, those times 100%. Just my freshman year, sophomore year. I think I mentioned earlier, you know, on your iPhone or whatever phone you got, on your photos, there's favorites, you know, and growing up, I would always, you know, favorite select photos that meant a lot to me. And I was going through them today, and I was, you know, circling back to just everything I did to be where I'm at right now. In terms of, you know, just extra work, just doing the little things, just all of it, you know, and I'm really grateful to be here. So, yeah.
I remember Chip being super excited, especially, again, coming off that game with the number of tackles you had. And we're like, you know, who's this Femi kid or what, you know, tell us about him. And he's like, oh, yeah, the minute we saw his name in the portal, we had to get him. We didn't have to look at film or nothing because they had already did all the film on you leading up to the game. And that was the final game of the season. You put on the performance you do, and they're like, yeah, we don't need to look at anything. Let's just we're gonna make the move on him. Who's reaching out to you at UCLA first? How did that process kind of go about where they got involved with you?
Yeah, man. It was kind of a mix of both. But, you know, one, rest in peace to Coach DeRuiter. Me and DeRuiter, we had a chance to talk a little bit. Coach Chip, at the time, Coach Dan Fields. Foster actually was the one who hit me up for my grades. So it was kind of all over the place. And for me, it was an easy decision. Still in California, I knew I wanted to stay in Cali. If, you know, available, which it was. And then great school. I mean, you talking about Cal and UCLA both, you know, talking about they never won public. So it was just perfect opportunity.
Josh, you got any other questions? If not, we can kind of get
Yeah.
into some of the fun questions a little bit. Go ahead.
Well, bringing up Foss, how was the whole, transition to the Foss era and your time under Coach Foster?
Yeah, man, I think it was great, man, and I respect Coach Foster a lot. Great coach, very personable, relatable. Obviously, played the game and at UCLA, so he has a lot of wisdom and knowledge. And then I think for myself, before he was a head coach, we had a pretty good relationship just because of how personable he was. He talked to all the players, it wasn't just his running backs. So the transition was smooth, man, and the principles he instilled in us, I'm gonna take that for my life, Dre. I think that really applies to life for real.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously we went 5-7. I believe there was 3 games really should have overcame and won. Would go 8-4, Washington, USC. And then who was the last one?
Minnesota.
I think it was like
That one too.
the Minnesota, yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tough, but I mean, I know for a fact he's going to kill it this next year in his future. So, great dude. Much respect for him.
I think playing off that too, actually, Josh, that's a good question. What was that transition like? Obviously, you guys got the coaching change going on, and that's why I was kind of surprised that maybe there would be a coaching change when there was, but changing conferences as well. You played in the Pac-12, obviously at Cal, and then that 1 year at UCLA, and then boom, all of a sudden y'all are in the Big Ten. Did you notice a difference in skill level and maybe competition? But then also, tell me about that travel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I think the transition to the Big Ten, it was dope. I think it was an advantage for us. But I say this out of confidence, not arrogance. But everybody human, bro. Everybody human. I mean, everybody's beatable. I don't think the transition was like nothing outrageous. I think it was great teams. He played Penn State. I mean, they went to the college playoff. I mean, I feel like we could have had them. You know what I'm saying? LSU, great teams once again, but it's not like they're just gods. You know what I'm saying? They're human. You can beat them. So great skill, great talent, but I still think every team is beatable. And what was the last question? I forget.
And just that travel that you guys had.
Travel. I mean, honestly, I like traveling. I'm gonna keep it 100. I like the flow of a plane. I don't know why. As long as I got a good seat.
Are we talking window seat, aisle seat? Where are we at on the plane?
I mean, I used to be a window seat guy, but as I got older, bro, I got bigger. I'm like, I need an aisle seat. But they had a B lineman, O lineman, and stuff like that in first class, so that was dope. But the travel wasn't too bad. I mean, as long as I could get, and we usually left on Thursdays if it was a really far game, so it wasn't horrible. You still got to play ball at the end of the day, so it was what it was.
Just to stay on the travel, what are we doing on the plane? Are we on the iPhone, or are we sleeping? How are we managing our time on the plane? Doing homework?
Yeah. So I got my iPad. I usually download some film. On that
Still got the film, huh?
Yeah, I watch the film, and then I'll download some movies, and then sleep. It's a mixture of those 3. And then sometimes I like to journal or read a little bit. But I remember when we went to New Jersey, bro, to play Rutgers. I slept the whole way there. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was your guys' farthest trip, too. Yeah.
Right when we got on the plane, I fell asleep. And the next thing you know, bro, we in Jersey. I'm like, bro, there's no way I slept the whole way there.
Hey, that's a good nap, man.
That's more than a nap. That's sleeping.
That's sleep. That's deep. That's a whole night's sleep.
A few REM cycles in there.
Going back, man, facts. Going back, I couldn't sleep at all, so I was mad. So yeah, bro. So, yeah.
Josh, go ahead.
All right, let's get to the fun questions that we call them out here. Okay. Top 5 funniest guys in the locker room.
Top 5 funniest.
I
would say, yeah, bro, funny. Funny and goofy's different. But goofy, you gotta have Quasi up there.
Okay.
He just like, I ain't never met no one like him. Freshman.
True freshman, yeah.
True freshman. He's just hilarious. Ale Cajo.
Okay.
John Vons. Who else up there? Jaden Marshall, pretty goofy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll say J Mike just because I was like Calvin. That's my dog.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, tell me a little bit too, real quick, about that relationship that you guys had. Obviously, you guys both played there together at Cal, came over this, I believe
Yeah.
the same year,
Yeah,
right?
so we came over the same year. We came into Cal together, and we had
Mhm.
built a really good relationship fast. I knew he was a worker, I was a worker, so we just kind of clicked. And when I had committed to UCLA, I knew he was in the portal, and he visited UCLA. I was obviously recruiting him and things like that. So
Mhm.
that's the only dude in college that I've played with all my 4 years. The
Oh
only
yeah.
dude. So that's my dog. I know he at Florida now. Talked to him
Mhm.
2 weeks ago.
Uh, I think
Cut out.
he cut out. Um, we'll give him a second here. Okay, very nice, very nice. And yeah, we wish J Mike the best of luck over there at Florida as he looks to finish out his college career.
Yeah.
Femi, though, real quick, one thing we always like to ask the guys, other than who are the top 5 funniest players in the locker room, but also who are some of the best guys you've competed against, whether they've been one on your team and you go up against them in practice, but then also on opposing teams, who are some of the top guys or some of the toughest guys you've been able to play against? Josh, do you have any examples you want to give Femi?
So mine is who I played with was Miles Jack, freaking nature. What I've seen him do in practice was probably crazier things than I've seen in games.
Yeah.
And then played against was Christian McCaffrey. It was just
Gotcha.
he was different.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I think for me, I mean, obviously, you go back to my junior year when you guys a lot to the Murphy twins,
Hmm.
specifically Gabe Murphy. Gabriel, we had a really good relationship. He's actually in
Okay.
Dallas. He's gonna grab lunch tomorrow, I think.
Mm.
But Gabe, man, we always went at it. Like just competing in the weight room, weight wise, just is what I'm saying. Got Cam Madrano. I mean, it's a lot of
Hmm.
guys. And then I think for me, on the opposing side was Garrett Giorgio.
Okay.
Always
Hmm.
competed,
Hmm.
run fits, pass fits, doesn't matter. And then in terms of opponent, um, I mean, I can't really think honestly. Because I feel like with my position at edge, I was kind of just so much
Hmm.
on myself.
Yeah, you just try to do your own thing, right?
I didn't really pay attention to like that. But someone
Right.
I played my 4 years in college was Jonah Coleman, Washington running back.
Okay.
So I played when
Hmm.
he's from the same area, kind of. He's from Stockton. So we just always went at it. You know what I'm saying? Always talking, but playing around, competing. Jonah Coleman, that's my dog. So yeah.
Any quarterbacks that come to mind? Obviously, you played against a number of different schools. Any quarterbacks that stand out?
I think Dylan Gabriel. I think
Okay.
Dylan Gabriel
Yeah.
pretty solid.
Dylan, yeah.
Pretty solid. He played a pretty efficient
Mhm.
game against us, besides his pick six with BA. Uh, I'll probably say that.
Okay.
I'll say Gabriel, yeah.
And then just about wrapping things up here, I got 2 questions for you. One, tell me a little bit about Latu. Have you had a chance to kind of talk to him, kind of pick his brain about his first year in the NFL? Obviously, he seems like he's back at Westwood every other week,
Yeah,
working out or something. So it's
right.
not like he was that far from you guys at any point other than when the season was going on. What has he told you about the NFL, or have you been in touch with him as far as helping you get ready and as far as what to expect?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, now we haven't talked too much.
Mhm.
I think just like communication on both sides. So
Yeah,
we haven't
yeah.
talked too much. But we're from the same area once again. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. And then I'm just really curious about Carson Schlesinger. Could you just tell me about, about Carson? Because I've been covering the team for a good amount of years now, and all of a sudden, we're talking about Carson this past season. Did you know he was as solid as he was? Like I would imagine you guys had a better sense. It was a surprise for the rest of us as we're watching
Yeah.
on TV and whatnot. But did any of what happened with Carson come as a surprise for you in the way he kind of burst out on the scene?
I would say it's a mix of both. Like because I always knew Carson was a solid backer. He always made plays in practice. He always did his job. He always did the little things right. But then when the transition happened, I mean, it just slowly, gradually kept progressing. I would say what might have been surprising was the consistency of it. Every day, every game, he did his thing, you know. So, and Carson's real meek, humble, gentle, hard worker, quiet. Not the loudest, but his actions speak loud, you know. So, much respect to Carson, man. He did his thing for real.
I think whether I'm assuming it was given to him, I think he runs with the Captain America nickname. Is that true? Is that what?
I think that came up. I want to say maybe like week 5, week 6, and it goes. I blends in real good. Captain Sweat.
Any fun nicknames for you? Obviously, Femi's is probably the go-to there, but any other ones for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. It's O2, O squared. That's with the double O. Double Lowski, double O, Finn, Big Finn, Mo. My mother named Moses. My brother called me Moses.
Okay.
Oluwai. I mean, everybody call me a lot of different
everything. Huh?
I kind of like it like that. Like it's variety because obviously I got a unique first name.
Gotcha.
So it gives people a chance to, do their thing.
It's unique, all right. It took me a while, especially as you started doing your thing during the season. We'd hop on the pod, and I'm like,
we just went with Femi. It was easiest for us to just go.
As soon as I heard Femi, I was like,
easy.
We're going with that. We're going with that. So that was great. Josh, anything as we kind of wrap things up here with Femi?
For any team that picks you, what are they getting? Like, if this is your time to, broadcast yourself, to shoot yourself, promote yourself, what are they getting out of Femi?
Yeah, man. Well, I think you're getting a man that won just every day is going to bring energy to the locker room. Every day to the building, he's going to be a man of leadership, big man of faith. Like off the field, I'm not going to have no issues. I'm going to be grounded. In the weight room, I'm going to be the first one in, last one out. I'm going to impact people. I'm going to get the best out of people. I'm going to give my best every day. I'm going to compete, and I'm going to get the team a win every week. I'm going to get us better.
Love that.
And as we wrap things up here, who were some of the teams, if you don't mind sharing, that you maybe had a chance to talk to, if at all, during the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really fortunate I had a chance to really speak with all 32.
Wow.
32 years, so
okay.
Things up in the air right now. We'll see how it goes.
Sounds good. Looking forward to your journey, obviously your career going forward. It's been an honor to kind of follow your career since you arrived at UCLA, and I'm planning on being out at Pro Day, so hopefully we see you there. And I'm looking forward to finding out how the scouting combine went for you, and look forward to hearing your name get drafted here sometime soon.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate both of y'all, man. Y'all have a great day.
Do your thing.
Go Bruins, baby. Foes up.
Awesome, Femi. Appreciate you.